Trading futures and options on futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although this could be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful. Only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition of risk capital is money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, or overly stress me out. As human beings, we make bad decisions when we're under stress, so be in a good spot. Remember, micro contracts could be friends. Take it easy on the day trade margins. You get plenty of leverage without maxing out on those day trade margins on a regular basis. We'll be taking a look at a real-time simulated live NinjaTrader trading platform today, and none of this should be construed as trade or investment advice. Past performance not indicative of future results. Good afternoon. Welcome to NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. My name is Jim Cagnina, with NinjaTrader. Appreciate everybody being here today. Joining me behind the scenes in the chat is Ed Jerkin. Ed's my colleague at NinjaTrader. He's domiciled in the Chicago headquarters office. Feel free to type in a question, comment, observation on anything NinjaTrader in the chat, and Ed will grab that question and either get it to me or go ahead and tackle it himself in the chat. If you don't know where the chat is, it's easy to get to. It's at ninjatrader.com / the word events, EVENTS, ninjatrader.com / events. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about the control panel. We're going to go through what it is, how to use it, all the super feature rich elements that are in the control panel. So let's go ahead and take a peek. The control panel is that rectangle that opens up when you first log into the NinjaTrader platform. And as a matter of fact, it opens up every time you log into the NinjaTrader platform. And it looks like something like this. There's a rectangle up here on my screen right now, and I'm going to find my mouse, which is right here. And let's talk about it. This does an awful lot of stuff. It doesn't look like a lot when you first log in. It's like, what is this? But it does an awful lot of stuff. Let's just kind of start with the layout a little bit. Lower left-hand corner, you're going to see a green dot. That means you're connected to a data feed, right? That's important, especially if you're trading, right? If it's red, you're not connected. If it's yellow, you're stalled for some reason. Check your router. But it's green for me, which means I'm connected. I put my mouse over it, and it says, my NinjaTrader Continuum connected. That's the data feed I'm connected to. All is good in the universe. On the top, you're going to see a series of words that are actually menus. You click on them, and these drop-down menus appear with different options. We're going to go through each of these in detail in a couple of minutes. And at the bottom are tabs that show different information, right? The tabs show different information. You can customize these, add to them or take away from them. And we're going to walk through these as well. All right, let's get started here. Let's start with the accounts tab. I'm on the accounts tab right now at the lower left-hand side of the control panel. And it has my accounts listed in there, right? I have 3 different accounts listed in here, a couple of sim accounts, a live account. And you can see which accounts are there. You could add, you can take accounts off, you could add accounts. And I have a series of columns which shows different information. And you can format columns very easily just by grabbing the line between the columns and just with your mouse, just pull them apart or pushing them close together as you go. And so let's just kind of go through these. These are the columns I have on here. You can customize these columns, which I'll show in a second. So I have display name, I have total commission, I have cash value, I have intraday margin, I have excess intraday margin, initial margin, excess initial margin, net liquidating value. I have realized P&L, unrealized P&L, total P&L. And we have a column way over here that says positions. So this is how I have mine set up. You could totally set it up differently, but I just wanted to kind of walk these through. Now, one thing that you will see here in the way that I have it set up is unrealized profit is going to move around when I have an open position, right? So that's dynamic. You'll see that constantly moving, as are all the columns related to your unrealized P&L, including your total P&L. This is tracking today. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see my net liq kind of moves around also. as my position unrealized P&L moves around. So they're dynamic columns. Data is being pumped in there along with all the other places on your NinjaTrader platform. So now if I want to customize any of these things, and NinjaTrader is really smart. You just right click and you get these drop down menus, right? You get these drop down menus, and here's where you could add a simulated account. You could edit a simulated account. You could remove accounts. You could close all selected account positions. So you could select an account, kind of like I have it highlighted up there, where I have this My NinjaTrader Sim account 1 highlighted. You just click on it and you could highlight it or activate it. And I'm going to go back to right click, and I could close all positions if I want right from here. Maybe I have positions in a lot of different markets and I just want to go market on close at the end of the day. I click on that. If you want this always on top, you could check that. Show tabs, which I am absolutely doing, print and share. Now at the bottom, there's a properties box here. This property box, I click on that. It's going to open up a new dialog box. And it shows me all of the columns that I could add or I could remove by simply checking in a box. It'll add a column, and by unchecking, it will remove a column. And there's a lot of stuff to consider. A lot of stuff for customization that you could consider here on this particular tab. So it's particularly useful in my opinion. Of course, you could change your fonts if you want as well. Maybe your font's too small, too big. I don't know. You could bold them and all that stuff. So that's how you customize the actual columns within the accounts tab. And you're going to see that this is pretty much how you can customize on every tab. But I'm going to hit, before I hit OK or cancel or OK, that's up to me. I could also set presets, right? I could click on presets here and I could save this layout that I have as my preset. This is the one I want, or I could restore to another version right here. So we're going to just say okay and keep it. Everything is good in the universe. Now, let's continue across. We have a positions tab also, and this shows me positions. This is basic information, right? This is particularly helpful also if you are trading in several accounts and you just wanted to remember exactly where your positions were, or if positions were closed out that you didn't know about because your targets were reached in some way or some form. So right here, I have my instrument. This is the Micro E-mini S&P, the December 2023 contract. I am short. I am not long. I sold a contract. Quantity, I sold one contract. My average price is right there. Since it was only one contract, the average price is going to be still the same as my entry price. And then my open P&L, right? So right now, my open P&L, this is gross P&L, right? And I'm up, as you can see, it's dynamic, $20. And then on the right-hand side, it tells me what account I'm in, right? What account this position is associated with, and that's in my Sim account 1. You might have multiple accounts, you might not, but that's how the position tab works. And again, to customize it, you're going to right-click on the gray bar there, and you'll see some things that are a little different on this pop-up menu. You could apply an ATM strategy, and we're going to cover this in a future video on how to go ahead and create, as an example, simple brackets and order cancels other automated trade management strategy. You could close your positions here, right? You just click on close. It'll close a position. I would highlight it first, and it would close it. You could flatten everything. Just flatten all of your positions if you want. You could roll a position. You could filter by account if you have a lot of accounts and you want to filter by account and not see all the accounts displayed at the same time. Always on top, show tabs, which I have. And then the properties is way at the bottom. I'm going to click on properties. It's going to open up another dialog box. And we have a similar kind of idea, right? We could change the font. We could change, the size of the font. We could bold it, which I did. And then you could add or remove columns as well. And you could just put a check if you want to add something, or uncheck if you want to take something away. And then click on that preset again if you want to name it something, or just hit OK. And now we're done with our positions tab. Let's go to executions. Executions tab shows us our executions, and we've had one execution today. Maybe we would have had a bunch more. I don't know if I'm more of an active trader, but right now we have one, and we're short. Similar information: quantity 1, price, and then the time we made that execution, and whether it was an entry or an exit. This was an entry. Position now is I'm short 1, and there's an order ID. This is unique to your order, and you're going to see whole, it's a long, confusing number, but it tells you, hey, this is the order ID associated with your trade. Commissions, again, you could set this commission to whatever commission you'd like, and it would populate that as well. SIM account, this is the account I'm in. In my connection, I also have here on my continuum connection. Now, again, you right click on the bar and you're going to get more stuff. You could filter by account, and you can go to a properties tab as well, and you could add different types of information or take away different types of information to customize your columns on the executions tab. I think you're starting to see a pattern here. Let's go ahead and click on the orders tab. The orders tab gives you all of the orders that you've placed that session. Right here, I canceled a lot of orders. Right, I've canceled a lot of orders. You can see that in the middle under the state. What's the state of your order? I have one working. I have actually one filled, which you've talked about, and I've canceled all of these orders. I've placed them and decided I didn't want to get filled there, so I canceled those orders, and it shows me my history along with a whole bunch of other columns, including the action, which is did I buy or sell, and the market's all the way on the left-hand side, which is called instruments, the type of order, limit, stop, limit, stop. I don't have any market orders in here, but if you did a market order, it would just say market, the quantities, and then for the limit orders, we have prices as well. Stops, we have prices as well. They're in two different columns. And then filled on the right, one out of all of these are filled, average price, no OCO, no order cancels other in this column. All of these accounts, all of these trades were either placed or canceled in a SIM account 1, and there's the time information when I did it, right? And notice there's a box on the right-hand side of the cancel column. It's got an X, it's dark gray. That means I could cancel this working order if I just wanted to click on that X from this screen as well. Now, there's other ways to go ahead and cancel orders, right? Including the trading ladder, and you could cancel them on the charts. The same thing about order entries. You could enter them on a trading ladder on a chart, but we save those for other NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed shows. And then finally, strategies here. If I had a strategy running, I would have a strategy right there in the tab itself. And again, remember, right click, and you get new, I could add a new strategy. I could synchronize all strategies. Strategy performance are some options on the strategies tab, and we'll do another session again on actually creating a strategy. Properties at the bottom, again, you hit the properties button, and it gives you columns that you could customize for your actual view in your control panel. So far, so good. Pretty easy, right? That's the bottom, right? Pretty much think of the bottom area here as this is dynamic account-related information on trades you have already made or about to be made or have canceled. That's what these tabs really, really signify. Now, one key thing, though, too, is at the end of the day, when I click on orders, this is kind of a tip. I want to make sure at the end of the day, I haven't forgotten something, right? I haven't forgotten an order somewhere in an order book, somewhere in a market, somewhere, and I could simply rely on this orders tab just to make sure it's matching with my memory, right? Making sure, I don't want to forget about this MES. Maybe this position never gets filled, and then at the end of the day, I have to remember that, and I'm going to have to manage out of a position. So it's always good to check this at the end of the day. Same with positions as well. Best practices usually. All right, so we've done the bottom, tabs, we'll call them. You could add a new tab if you want. Click on that add tab and customize it even further just by hitting that plus sign at the bottom. Let's talk about the top menus here. Let's go to the first one, new. New is how you launch stuff, right? You want to create a workspace. You're gonna add a chart, maybe. You're gonna add a trading ladder, maybe. You're gonna add a market analyzer or a quote board, maybe. Here are all the things that you could add to your workspace. You're going to lay out a workspace. Maybe you have multi-monitors. Maybe you have a single monitor. That's totally custom trader preference. But here's some of the key things that you could add. And I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple of real basic ones real quickly, just to kind of show you how to do it. So if I want to add a chart, I'm going to click on the word chart. It's going to bring me up a dialog box, right? On a dialog box. And at the very top, it says instrument. So now I got to pick a market. It says instrument, it means market, same thing. Remember, in the futures world, and futures exchanges offer many different markets and many different asset classes. So I could simply type in a ticker symbol here or a keyword. This is a smart search. So if I wanted to add, I don't know, MES, I know that's the ticker symbol for the micro E-mini S&P. That was what my position is in. And there it is on the drop-down menu, right? There it is on the drop-down menu. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that, double click on that. It'll apply it, right? It applies it to the left-hand side of this dialog box. It says MES, it's highlighted gray, daily. I'm going to go over to the right-hand side and kind of customize how I want it to look. And I think we went over this last week in detail, if my memory serves me correctly, but we're just going to keep it as a daily chart. And we're going to just keep all of the settings, candlestick. I'm not going to change anything here. And I'm just going to hit OK. And it's going to open up a chart. It opened up on my second monitor. I'm just going to drag it over here. Remember, everything is modular. You could position these windows however you'd like to position them. You could put them side by side. You could put them on different monitors. You could expand or contract them by just grabbing the corner of the window or grabbing the side of the window. It's really easy to manipulate. Same with the control panel, right? Just grab the bottom, pull it down, grab the bottom, pull it up. It really is that easy. So it gives you the ability, you have a blank canvas, you could paint whatever masterpiece you want on your screen. So that's the actual, as an example, this is a chart. Now I could add more stuff, right? I could add a second chart if I wanted to, and I would simply just go back to new, and I would click chart again. And then it's going to ask me the same questions. What do you want to see on this chart? Well, in this case, again, I want to see the MES. I'm going to type in, micro E-mini S&P. I'm going to go ahead and find it in my drop-down menu. I'm going to double click on it. But instead of a daily chart, maybe I want to do let's do a 15-minute chart. So I'm going to change type to minute. I'm going to change value to 15, and I'm going to hit OK. And it's going to open up another chart, a second instance of a chart. So now I have two charts on my workstation, right? Things are starting to look up. And there's other ways to add additional charts, including using the tab system on the bottom of the chart. But again, I think we covered that last week, so we're not going to do that today. So now I have two charts here. I'm just going to kind of, move them around a little bit just to kind of give me a little bit of a better peek. And I'm not formatting them perfectly. I'll be trying to align these charts side by side all day, and everybody would probably fall asleep. So we're not going to actually do that. We are just going to kind of move these around. Oopsie. Just kind of grab that bar at the top, tighten it up a little bit. So we're going to add some more information. That's right. We could add some more information. And we're going to add a trading ladder next, right? We're going to add the NinjaTrader Superdome, which is also found in the new tab. So I'm going to move my mouse up to that new tab. I'm going to click. It's going to drop down the menu. I should say the new menu button. It's going to drop down the menu after I click on it. Let me do that again. I'm going to move my mouse to the word new. I'm going to click on it, and a drop-down menu will appear. Once it appears, I'm going to go ahead and click on Superdome. Here's NinjaTrader Superdome. I'm going to click on that. And again, it's going to open up a NinjaTrader Superdome. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here on my screen. And you can see we have the trading ladder right now added. It's really easy to do. And we've gone over that. Next week, actually, we're going to go over how to actually customize this and unleash all of the superpowers associated with the Superdome. If you wanted to open up a second Superdome, you could do that easily. You could just go back to that new button, click on it, the menu appears, and then go ahead and open up a second instance of the Superdome, and we'll have two of those side by side. In this particular case, I'm going to choose a different market. I don't know. We'll choose the MNQ for micro NASDAQ. Oopsie. Let me try that again. MNQ. All these menus are smart. You type in a keyword. It's going to give you what they think the answer is. And you double click on the one that meets your criteria. So now we added the micro NASDAQ futures. So we have a couple different futures markets side by side. You could have as many of these open as you want, or as few of these open as you want. Now, if you want to get rid of one of them, you just click on the X, right? The upper X in the upper right-hand corner of any of these windows. Now, before I do that, there's a super tip here I want to give everybody. This is really, really an important tip. I'm just going to drag this all the way over the side. Once you're happy with your layout, once you don't want to make any more changes to your layout, and you think that, hey, this is the exact layout I'm going to use tomorrow when I log back in, the best way to maintain that, that structure is when you log out of your NinjaTrader, just go back to the control panel and then right click on the X button on the upper right hand corner. See where it says close here, upper right hand corner? I click on that. It will close all of my windows and memorize how everything was left off, including all the charting work I've done the day before, all the indicators I've added, all of that stuff. So that's really important. Now, if I just clicked on one of these guys, let's just close that trading ladder. I close that trading ladder. And now I click out of this X, right? I go up to the control panel, I go to the upper right-hand corner and I click X, and then I open it up again. It will just show this view because I've gotten rid of the Superdome already, right? It's going to memorize my last view. Does that make sense? Again, if you have any questions or you want to know something, just type it into the chat. And the chat can be found at ninjatrader.com/events. Ed Jerkin is behind the scenes. Ed, again, is with headquarters at NinjaTrader, and he could answer any kind of questions you might have. And he would also share those with me. So feel free to do that as we go. So I'm just going to open up one more window for now. You guys got to get the idea. I would experiment in sim mode of all of these things to see which ones are helpful for you and which ones aren't helpful for you. I'm going to go ahead and just click on Market Analyzer, which is the next window that's going to pop up. And it's going to give me the ability to produce a quote-like board or watch list like quote board here. Again, just by adding instruments to that quote board, and I can customize them we very easily to make this market analyzer look like exactly how I want it to look. I'm just going to go ahead and real quickly add some instruments here just so we have a picture of what a trading a layout would look like, right? And again, this isn't pretty, but this is just kind of a layout that I'm going to have. Mine, my primary one has many different markets that go all the way down to the bottom of the screen. But again, you can customize it. You can make it bigger, smaller. You could change the colors. You can color code the columns, and you could add indicators as well and other performance matrix to the market analyzer as well. So that's another piece of the puzzle, right? So you can see I'm kind of filling out my workstation right here, right now. I'm trying to customize it to make it look exactly how I'd like it to look. And just to kind of complete the picture here, I'm going to add, one more. We'll go ahead and open up one more chart, and then we'll go ahead and add another marketplace. Instead of typing it into instruments, I'm going to go to my drop-down menu up here. It'll give me some suggestions here. We'll throw crude oil in there. That's always a fan favorite. We'll do a 15-minute chart on crude oil, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. It's going to give me another chart, and I'm going to move it over into this bottom area. All right, so now I have a couple of charts. I have a couple of let me move that out of the way so I could see the lower right-hand side of my screen a little bit better. Moving it down, and we positioned it right there. So this is the start of a workstation, right? I have it completely filled on one monitor. Again, I have another monitor to the left, but I'm going to keep everything here for demonstration purposes. So go ahead and experiment with the new menu. There's lots of stuff on here that you may or may not be interested in looking at. Time and sales is another good example. If you've been trading futures for a while, you might know what time and sales is, and it might be important to you. I don't know. And there's a basic order entry button and things like that. So experiment with that. The tools menu is the next one over, right? I'm just going to go ahead and navigate my mouse to the word tools, and this menu pops down, and it gives me the ability to create instrument lists, do some database management, program hotkeys, and so on and so forth. I could import files for NinjaScript add-ons. So for instance, maybe you were at the ecosystem, NinjaTrader ecosystem, and you found an add-on from a third party that you thought would be helpful. Once you download that you can go through this menu process. You could export your own stuff as well. And then there's global simulation mode, which will be another video where we can go back and trade historically with historical data and do back testing and all of that stuff. So this is the tools menu. The next one over is called workspaces. And you can see I have all sorts of workspaces, right? I have all sorts of different workspaces that I've set up throughout my course here at NinjaTrader. I just name them something unique. The top 5 indicators is what I lose what I use on a regular basis at the opening range shows. And then I have the green. The one in green is the one we're on right now, and I named it Winless Bears. As we know, I think the Chicago Bears are 0-5, and I'm from Chicago originally, so not particularly happy with that. If I wanted to go ahead and name it something new, I'd click the new button, and I would be able to create a new workspace, right? So you could have multiple workspaces. You could toggle back and forth here. Let's do it real quick. I'm going to click on top 5 indicators. And this is my this is my main workspace right here, right? This is my main workspace right here. And I'm logging into it right now. Again, I'm going to go ahead and reformat the windows a little bit later on, but this is basically what it looks like. If I want to toggle back, I'm going to go to workspaces and I'll go back to Winless Bears because they're still winless. They haven't won a game today. And they haven't won a game in the first 5 weeks, and perhaps they won't for the rest of the year. Nobody really knows. But in any event, we'll stop picking on the Bears, and we're going to go through the rest of the menus at the top of the screen. We're going to go ahead and check out connections. Click on connections, and it gives you some options here. We have end of day free connection, kinetic. We have my kinetic, which is an option some of you guys would use. We have my NinjaTrader Continuum, which is the data feed that I use. I can disconnect by clicking on that and then reconnect on any one of these that I wanted to. I'm not going to do that now. I can go into playback mode. We have global simulation mode, playback mode, and I could play data from a specific time period, right? Maybe I wanted to look at the open last Tuesday, and I could play that as if it's in real time, even though it's not. And I could kind of go ahead and practice trade that way. And then simulated data feeds here. To configure a new connection, you just click on the configure tab. And again, it'll open up a dialog box with everything that's available to you. And you can simply go through this process and configure something new. I'm going to X out of that button. And that's the connections tab. The help tab on the far right, gives you some resources for help. And this is particularly helpful. Maybe you have a question on how does something work. Maybe you have a problem. I don't know. Maybe your data feeds, something might be funky with it somewhere, and you wanted to go ahead and get some help. So one thing that's particularly useful in my mind is this email support. It doesn't sound like it's going to be useful because it's email support, right? You click on it. But it's going to open up an internal box here. And by typing in a message, and you could even attach a file if you want, and by checking log and trace files, you're going to send this to tech support behind the scenes. They're going to get this message, and they're going to know what account it came from, who you are, everything, right? And they're going to be able to they'll know what version of the software you're on. They'll know who your connection is. They'll know all this stuff, right? So they'll get this, and then they will get back to you. Now, they get back very quickly. I know it sounds, it's email support. No, but they will get back to you very quickly. So don't feel free to use this. And if you want to send a copy to yourself, check that box down at the bottom. So that's particularly useful as well. I'm looking at a note from Dave N. is looking to add average true range to the market analyzer. Dave N., remind me at opening range tomorrow morning, and I'll walk you through how to do that. Oh boy. All right. So help, we've kind of went through help, and there's more options on the help as well. And then about, of course, you click on that about tab. It's like, if you're not sure what version you're on, someone asks you what version you're on, you hit that about tab. It'll tell you all the things you have. So here's my version number, 8.116, 64-bit. That's the computer I'm running this on. There's my machine ID. There's my order flow plus entitlement, right? So I subscribe to order flow volume profile, and I have a multi-broker platform, and I also subscribe to the static Superdome, which you see up on my screen. I'm going to hit OK. And that's it. So those are the basics of how to go ahead and use this control panel. A lot of stuff on the control panel. I know it doesn't look like a lot when you log in, but the main thing is when you log in for the first time in the day, you're going to get this rectangle and it should connect automatically to whatever connections you've previously set up, and you'll see that green circle there. That's key. Make sure you have that green circle. And again, after you're done setting up and you're happy with everything at the end of the day, or whenever you decide to quit trading for the day, hit that X button on the upper right-hand side. It will close everything for you, log you out, and then the next day when you log in, it will memorize how you had your particular workspace configured. All right, so we did a lot of work today. I just want to remind everybody that's here with me today, at the end of the day, we have an end of day show called Bars Closing. That's at 3:15 East Coast time. The host this afternoon is Tom Schneider. Tom is a CMT, and he's my broadcast partner here at NinjaTrader, and always has fascinating insights into the futures market. So feel free to join Bars Closing at the end of the day today. So with having said all that, I appreciate everybody being here with us today as we went through the control panel. And I do want to remind everybody, the most important message of the day: please be safe out there, be good to each other. Thanks for coming.